Welcome back to LabFam Podcast, where we dissect the latest studies and explore their real-world impact. Today, we're zeroing in on a topic that's become a mainstay of modern work: working from home. While working from home has been touted as a champion of flexibility and work-life balance, particularly for working mothers, the reality is far more complex. We're going to unpack a fascinating study that reveals the subtle and sometimes not so subtle ways that mothers are penalized in this landscape. This research gets to the heart of how employers perceive and treat mothers who work remotely, especially now, in what we might call the post-pandemic era. The document mentions that past studies have hinted at the career limitations that flexible work might impose, often attributing them to managers questioning a teleworker's commitment. But this study takes a more rigorous approach. It doesn't just assume commitment is the issue, it tests it, along with performance, to see how they shape a manager's evaluations. The findings are, frankly, a bit disheartening. The study confirms that mothers are indeed penalized for working from home. But the why behind that penalty is more intricate than you might expect. The study reveals that this penalty isn't necessarily linked to concerns about performance dips due to family interruptions. It's not necessarily about managers worrying that your toddler will wander into a client meeting. The editor document suggests that managers may perceive mothers who WFH as simply less committed to their jobs. And that perception is a significant factor holding them back from promotions and salary increases. The text on the left mentions that even when you account for performance and commitment, mothers who WFH 5 days a week are still less likely to be promoted compared to their office-based counterparts. This strongly indicates that other, less tangible factors are at play. So what are these hidden factors? The researchers propose that in organizations where remote work is present, but not the norm, employers might be hesitant to promote or increase the salaries of mothers who WFH due to a perception that they're less dedicated to their careers. Brown, 2010. The penalties, as the editor document notes, can be partially attributed to managers' perceptions of commitment. This is where those ingrained biases, those assumptions about mothers' roles in the workplace and at home, start to creep in. Now, there's a crucial caveat here. The document also points out that in workplaces where remote work is common, mothers may actually be treated more favorably. They're often more likely to receive promotions and salary increases than other workers in those environments. It's likely that such an environment will have many supportive policies for parents, which are often selected for by women who prefer work from home. But once you isolate the companies that don't have that widespread flexibility, the penalties for full-time WFH become strikingly clear, as the editor document demonstrates. And here's another fascinating and frankly frustrating aspect of the research. Childless women appear to be in a more advantageous position. They are the only group for whom the request to work from home isn't automatically associated with lower work commitment. This really highlights the deeply ingrained assumptions about mothers and their dedication to work. So, what does all of this mean? It means that flexibility stigma and managerial bias are still very much alive and kicking, even in our supposedly enlightened post-pandemic world. Organizations need to take concrete steps to combat these biases. Organizations should invest in training managers to assess employees fairly, using objective metrics and focusing on outputs rather than relying on subjective judgments. Clear, transparent career progression guidelines are also essential to ensure that remote work doesn't become a career dead end. And crucially, we need a gender-sensitive approach. Teleworking mothers are often held to different standards than fathers. We need to design policies and evaluations with those disparities in mind, creating a truly equitable environment for everyone. The researchers themselves acknowledge that a larger sample size would have allowed for even more granular analysis. They also point out that future research should explore how employer and company characteristics, like organizational culture and norms, impact the effects of WFH on workers' careers. Despite these limitations, this research provides invaluable insights into the realities of WFH and its uneven impact on working mothers. It's a powerful reminder that flexibility, in and of itself, isn't enough. We need to actively dismantle the biases and systemic barriers that prevent mothers from fully thriving in the workplace. We hope this has given you some food for thought. Be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode. And until next time, stay curious.